I kind of got interested in the V&T when I was in the college at the University of Nevada. Kind of what I ended up living in the 90s out in Franktown, probably 300 yards away from the station, and where the tank used to be. The tank was still there when I first went to school at UNR, the remains of it. And so I was modeling a contemporary layout until about 4 years ago. I saw Gary Cavigula's rendering in the Gazette of the truss bridge over the Truckee River. So I decided I was going to go ahead and build that, and then I decided after that I needed a layout to put it on, so I tore out my old layout and I started on this one. So I figure I'm probably about 40% complete. So it's figuring it's a 10-year project. And I say mostly 1877, mostly because some of the buildings I first built probably are in Virginia City are actually like pre-1875 fire. Maybe someday I'll redo them, maybe not. So I handed out a track plan. So the layout's a point-to-point design. Since I lived in Washoe Valley, that was really important to me. So I dedicated a large portion of it to Washoe Valley. I also lived up Huffacre Lane, so I included I'm going to include a siding for Huffacres and put a flume there someday. So I'm trying to do this for operation. We'll see how that works. It's going to take a lot of cars and a lot of locomotives. So this is Overmine. The ore chute in the front is pretty much what I figured was to scale, and then the back buildings are all probably condensed to about a third of what they were in reality. So that the overshoot building is all pre-strained strip wood. Everything was board by board construction. Most of the rest of it is scrap wood. I like to come out, Kent. So there's another shot of that with. I don't have any moguls that are finished yet, so I'm using 440s for everything. So those are Eric's kits. I've got about 15 flat cars put together and probably 4 or 5 box cars. There's a photo down, looking down the Virginia City Yard with the consolidated Virginia mine and the freight house. Most of the buildings, just to save space, I condensed them and tried to keep the feel of what it looked like in the photos. Another shot of the Virginia City Yard. And then in the foreground is the post-1875 Virginia City Fire depot. In the car shed. That was a Consolidated Virginia assay house. That's one of the few things that was built out of styrene. And then I like to think the two figures on the front are like Mackey and Flood waiting for their partners to show up and have a little meeting about where they're going to dig in the mine next. The freight house.
John, dimensionally, how big is that room?
It's 15 by 22. So, am I going backwards?
No.
There's a close-up of the Virginia City Station, some figures. I've been using Musket Miniatures figures and wagons and horses. Probably going to branch out to some other things to try to give it a little more variety. Then all that, but window castings are Grant Line. engine service facility at Virginia City. So that's a Sequoia turntable kit, and then I used a 3-inch machinist rotary table underneath it to turn it on. It's almost finished. It's not quite. I've been monkeying with it to get it right. And then the big crack in my backdrop.
Lightning strike.
That's been fixed since. No, it's earthquake country.
Earthquakes did occur up there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I only had enough room to build 4 stalls, so I built the what I believe was the second, that was the addition to the engine service facility.
Magnetic disc center.
And then Comstock Car Shop tank kit.
Nothing at all.
And Heather Clark's been painting my brass locomotives, and she also painted this Kimball car kit set. So the crown point, trestle. So it's actually the height is 85 foot to scale. How many bends are there supposed to be, Ken?
19 or 23 pencil.
I think there's only 22 or maybe 21, but I compressed them. And then it's kind of hard to tell from different photos what's on each side of the trestle and which way you're looking. Actually, the trestle's backwards, and I put that pedestrian walkway on the front side just because I figured if I was going to go to all the work, I wanted people to see it. Someday I might put some more Orcar trestle down there, because I think one of the Watkins photos just shows it's an absolute rat maze. Another shot of that. I use Sculptamold to do all my rock. I put it on wet and then shape it with a palette knife. I don't like doing rock castings and trying to blend them together. Oops.
We knew we were in trouble when I was responsible for the tech center.
It's better than me because I'd be holding photos up. Close up. And then the long way looking back. And then, like I said, there's I left out Gold Hill so I could do more Washoe Valley. Then I had on this corner I had like a lot of space, so I put like a little prospect mine. Then I found on a map in what Comstock Mines and Miners, on a map of the claims, there was a small claim just above the spur to Silver City called the Harlem Claim, so I put that on there. I have no idea what it really looked like, but somebody probably paid really a lot of money to drill that hole. So then my operation plan is to eventually probably build a consolidated California mine to the right of the consolidated Virginia mine, and then run ore cars down to this area, which would be the close to the Carson River. I haven't finished it, but the Carson River would run over there, and then I'm gonna build a larger mill structure there, probably kind of model it somewhat after the Merrimack. This was modeled a little bit after the Morgan, but it's really reduced in size. So it probably took me longer to build a cupola, which is really a distinctive feature of the photos of this mill, than it took to build the whole rest of the structure. So this is going to be Carson City Yard. I've got the turntable pretty much completed and most of the track. Where the paint stains are, the greenish yellow paint stains in the back, is where I'm I'm gonna build the engine house. And Dave Connery's agreed to loan me his molds for the stonework. Just an overhead view. Close up of the turntable. So this is Washoe Valley from what I call Franktown, looking back towards Lakeview Hill. I found a guy in Seattle who makes pieces for split rail fence, so I put a lot of split rail fences in. I don't know that those ever existed. And then in my world in 1877, the trees, the trees, where the hills roll up towards Tahoe, they're gone. So the siding, over here, I'm going to have like a flume come down, and then in my operational scheme, empty flats will come back down from Virginia City and load cordwood and mine timbers. There's a little better view of the split rail fence. And then I call those Nevada Longhorns. So there's Lightning Express passing a freight, which is probably going the wrong way. And then the more rectangular pre-1900 water tank. So then this train's coming down into what I call Pleasant Valley, out of, that would probably be Washoe Canyon. And then this is what Steamboat, where there's been a lot of photos on that bridge. And look at the, I didn't notice like one of the drivers is not on the rail.
Not unusual.
It doesn't really run. No, it's getting better. And then, so the Steamboat Creek, and there's been a lot of photos of this. I don't know, I kind of think my rock color's a little bit too light for that area, but same thing. A lot of Rio Grande flat cars. Some of those haven't been weathered yet. So the truss bridge over the Truckee River. I took this photo before I went crazy with trees, so probably looks more like now, like the Truckee River does now than then. I was down there yesterday and I took some photos of the bridge abutment, and yeah, it's really heavily wooded, and it probably wasn't then, but it makes the helps blend everything into the backdrop. So from here then, it goes into the Central Pacific Virginia and Truckee interchange. So I've got the single car engine house built and a water tank. And then sitting in front of the engine house is one of the rotary tables that I'm going to install. So this is also going to be it's going to basically be a twin to the A-frame turntable that I used at Virginia City. But since Sequoia's doesn't seem to be producing those kits anymore, I'm going to build that from scratch. Since I took this photo, I widened the layout probably 1.5 feet as we're facing it to the right. And my wife, one night I'm out in the front of the garage, because this is in the garage, with a skill saw cutting plywood, and I have my impact driver screwing stuff together, and she's like, "What in the hell are you doing out there?" And I go, "I'm adding real estate." So I just decided this was unworkable, and I've added more space and then lengthened the stub of the tracks. So that's all the photos. And then, so Bob Kenworthy and his son Daniel came up, and we tried to shoot a little video with, what's the name of the camera? GoPro. So we shot some of it with, on the back of a flat car. And just because of obstructions, it's not small enough. There were a few places it wouldn't get past, so Daniel kindly edited, and hopefully the computer's gonna work.
I need the mic.
And then, yeah, if the mic works, then we're gonna have sound.
I have a quick question. What
Sure.
scale are you in?
HO.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I had somebody.
Yeah, and then, I mean, when we show that, after this, I'll answer any more questions.
Okay.
I did. I live in Seattle.
Hope you don't derail and go down to the floor.
Have a lifetime warranty on those locomotives? I think he's exceeding the 3-mile-an-hour speed limit. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Do you let your toy cars?
Do I what?
Drive your black cars?
Yeah, I didn't do much in the way of underbody detail. So, because if I wanted to run empties, I figured out real quick they had to be weighted. So I just flip them over and so I know acrylic a bunch of lead shot in between the wood members. So I think they're up to like about 1.5 ounces each, maybe 1 3/4 ounces.
Mine's not even an ounce.
DC or DCC?
DCC.
So we talk about your track when you're wiring.
Yeah, let's. So I decided I wanted to use stub turnouts, and I wanted to use like more prototypical rail, so I used code 55 rail, which, I don't know, it's been a nightmare trying to get the thing smoothed out and running. Railway engineering, I bought the turnouts from him ready-made, but I've had to like re-gauge them as I go. 'Cause, I don't know, he claims they're accurate, but they aren't that hard to move. And then so all the track was hand laid. I originally put it all down with Plyobond on pre-stayed ties, and because of the variation in temperature in my garage, it's not a conditioned space. The corners were moving, so I'd get stuff coming out of rail. So finally, last winter, I just went in there and spent about 5 weekends, ripped all the corners out, probably about 70 feet of ties and rail, laid down new ties, and I used fast tracks, PC board ties, about every 10th one, and then soldered it. So it's not moving now. Because it was like, okay, I made a mistake, I need to bite the bullet, fix it, or I'm gonna be just constantly trying to repair it.
Charlie, do you have any grades, or is that all one level?
It's pretty much one level.
Okay.
I thought about doing grades, but trying to run the 440s.
The 440s with the Kimball train aren't gonna go up a grade.
No, well, yeah, and then I need to do some more work for weighting. I'm gonna ask Jim Vale how to weight the 440s.
Did you come up with the mixture for your yellow paint on those box cars, or did you find something that you could use without mixing?
That's about the third attempt. I'm trying to think. I think that's Depot Buff. And then, you know, it kind of, when I put it on, it kind of left a weathered effect. So it's an accident.
They look good.
It looks weathered, so that's good. Okay. Thank you very much.